and no way to know for sure. I figure out a cure. I forget the
don't know
words.
that much
Nobody's
of that.
perfect. I gotta work it again and again till I get it right. Nobody's perfect. I gotta work it. Hannah Montana is my jam. Watch you go bad shit.
You get
Fuck
the
yeah. Hi guys.
best of both worlds. Chill it out, take it slow, and then you rock out the show. You get the best of both worlds.
All right, guys, welcome to Take the Reactor Summit. This week we are not having fun because Abe is being a sourpuss. No, we're going to talk about
Watch your profanity.
some great matches. The finals match and then the number one contender for the number one contender match. And we're also going to do a preview of the Spectacular because now we have all the pieces lined up for the Spectacular. We know who everyone's going to be. We know who's going to lose and who's going to win. No, we don't. That would be spoilers, and we don't have those. But we do have a great panel. That's what we call segue. We have Malcolm Lay. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Just can't wait to talk about Spectacular and the matches that we had this week.
And we also have the return of the one and the only Matt Kearns. What's going on, man?
I'm back. Where have I been? I don't know. But I'm here now. That's all that matters, you know? It's like Mel Gibson once said in the holiday classic Lethal Weapon. Shit. I think he said that somewhere in the movie. I don't know. Hi, Kara.
All right, yeah, we also have Kara because my husband's working, and yep. So she's here. My hair looks terrible. Sorry.
My hair looks terrible too.
Yeah, I'll just take a couple seconds and okay.
Hey guys, welcome to the summit. Let's talk about our personal appearance.
Hey, you know what? We gotta do what we gotta do. All right, so we're gonna talk about the matches. So
I have really big breasts.
Oh, all right.
All right, you learn something new every day. Hey guys, you know what they say? Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, right, guys?
Jeez. Oh man. Okay, so let's talk about some SCHMOEDOWN matches, guys. All right, so this week we had some great matches. We had the number one contender for the number one contender match, which was Dan Murrell versus Mark Andreyko. Now this match, I had a lot of expectations for it because Mark Andreyko has been, as they say in Zoolander, like he's so hot this year. Yeah, he really has been such a great competitor this year. I've been really impressed with Mark Andreyko. But Dan Murrell, he was just Dan Murrell in this, the weeks where he plays badly, he's not Dan Murrell. But this week he was. And there's very little Mark Andreyko can do against someone who's just going to play at that caliber. I thought that he played well, but he felt really defeated by about the middle of the match. And I guess he's not the kind of person who once he feels defeated, he just gives up because he still tried. But it definitely felt like he was just like, Dan's going to win this match. Oh, well. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this match as well. So let's shoot it over to Malcolm first. What were your thoughts about the match between Andreyko and Murrell?
Yeah, I mean, this was a pretty good match. I mean, Andreyko's always been a great competitor, and I mean, Dan Murrell was just getting back into his stride of being up there and just being dominant. And it's one of those ones like Andreyko didn't know what Dan Murrell was going to get. Whether he was going to get Dan Murrell in his prime or Dan Murrell sort of not had his best. So it's just as bad luck he got the prime Dan Murrell.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the issue so far with him in matches is you aren't 100% sure what player you're going to be seeing in the ring because there have been recent weeks where he's been perfect, literally not missed a single question, and then there have been weeks where he does not do as well. That's the nice way to put it. But very inconsistent, and that might actually be something that works well for him moving into Spectacular because people won't be sure who shows up at Spectacular because he has been so inconsistent. So that might actually help him as he goes to face Clarke Wolfe at Spectacular. But who knows? It's hard to prepare for someone who could play very well or could play relatively well. So, Matt, what were your thoughts about this one?
You don't have the fucking right.
I think Amazing Grace is a uncopyrighted song. Regardless, that is from Brooklyn, or his song favorite competitor, Mark Andreyko. Of all the souls I've ever encountered in my travels of the SCHMOEDOWN, his most... I don't really... Mark Andreyko is pretty good. Yeah, this match, it happened. This is what I call a drive-by SCHMOEDOWN match. Kind of, by a certain point, you kind of know who's winning, and there's not much you can do about it. Yeah, I mean, personally, I wanted Andreyko to win. It's been no secret that, ever since Collision, I like seeing Dan Burrow lose. Fine admitting that. Yeah, I said it. No, Dan played a really good game. I agree with you guys. He has, which being a team match fan, like saying this, Andrew Guy really threw him off with his return. And since then, we're not getting the Dan Burrow we used to all the time. And that's going to be interesting for Clarke when we preview Spectacular, we'll get more into this. But that's going to make that match interesting. As for the match as it is, Mark he had... I'm not sure if he had an off day or was Dan just had such an on day, but I like the fact that Mark didn't really, give up. He kind of just... he kept fighting, but, yeah, it was just one of those matches where it was just kind of he kind of knew Merle was going to win, so what can you do? Sorry, Brooklyn.
I actually didn't know that Dan was going to win because he has been so inconsistent. Now, if this was Dan from last year, I might have said absolutely I think he's going to win this match. But going into it, like I said, Mark Andreyko has been on a bit of a hot streak this year. So. Not
going in, I more meant once you got to
the
second round, it was sort of that's what I meant. Going in, yeah, especially after his match with Erwin, it was very much who is going to win this?
Yeah, because, I mean, when you have the momentum coming into a match, I feel like there's a better chance of you continuing that. And he definitely had the momentum from the season so far. It just didn't work out for him, unfortunately. She really likes Mark Andreyko. Unfortunate for her. Because he won't be at Spectacular. But, it is what it is. I thought the match was really good. I mean, they both played well in the first round. In the second round, it obviously swung one way. But, end of the day, it all comes down to round 3. Pretty much as usual. But at least Mark didn't lose to Royal Rumble again. Which Christian Harloff had, probably the best bait and switch with that Royal Rumble thing. It was one of the funniest things in the SCHMOEDOWN this year. He was so serious. And I think for a second, Mark Andreyko actually thought it was another Royal Rumble question. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. That's hilarious. And then it wasn't, obviously. But that was top notch. I really, really thought that was funny. So yeah, it is what it is. We have a lot to talk about, so we're not going to talk about match 1 forever. We are going to talk about the storylines, though, real quick. So we got a funny little interaction between Bibbs and Thad that I really liked, and also an interaction between Lon and Elliot that I really liked. So these are definitely not the main storyline moving into Spectacular, but maybe they're the beginnings of what we're going to see for next year. Let's talk about those, what you guys think about each individual one, and do you have any thoughts about what they could be leading into? Matt, what do you think about these cutscenes here?
Well, Bibbs and Thad, Bibbs was hilarious in this cutscene. I loved it. And Thad sort of, his continual, as we get closer to Spectacular, his continual, we'll see it in the next match, certainly, just sort of, he's going farther down, he's just being pushed farther down. The long one with Elliot, I loved, because I love both of these characters, and it just seems like Lon is now trying to expand his school, and I think going into next season, like I would love it if like the Wildberries are kind of like students of Lon or something like that. Just could lead to some really funny. Like I don't care if it's a storyline. That could just lead to some really funny cutscenes of like Cody and Makuga and Dewberry like in a classroom with Lon teaching it, just like trying to raise their hands and answer trivia. So yeah, these were both really good cutscenes.
Malcolm, what were your thoughts about those cutscenes there?
Yeah, I mean the Lon and Elliot one was entertaining because like Elliot goes like, oh, how did Josh Makuga get out of this and all that? It's like just those sort of things. Like one thing I'm worried about that I really hope it's not leading to is whether this whole cutscene leads to Elliot leaving Makuga and
Shut your mouth.
And I mean, I don't want that to happen myself, but I'm afraid that it might be. But I mean, in saying that, if it does lead to both Wildberries and Cody Hall being part of the students, then it could be entertaining. And plus, we've got the Fantasy Boys back with Josh Makuga and Cody Hall back on the same side again. So that would be really entertaining. And the Bibs and Fad one was just entertaining. I mean, Bibs has always been great when it comes to the cutscenes and his entertainment value there. I mean, I really hope Fad goes to Bibs and gets him to help for the entrance because
Fad to the Bib style entrance.
I mean, that could be interesting. I mean, we all know Bibs wants to help people for entrances, so
it's true. I mean, I can't believe I don't know if it's just he's playing it off for the scene, but I can't believe no one has taken him up on his offer. Like, he has some of the best entrances in the entire SCHMOEDOWN ever. Come on, someone.
I want Bibs to do an entrance just in my personal life. Like, yes. I just want him to be like, this is you walking into Walmart on a Tuesday for washer fluid, Matt. This is how you're going to do it.
Yeah, for sure. No, seriously. Like,
Bibs, call me.
I would like that a lot. It's not going to happen, but I would like it a lot. Yeah, I mean, it was just funny, but it would be interesting to see if that like continued. Like,
Bibs offered his services to people. There's a number to call.
Trying to do stuff for people. I don't know. I think it could be funny. But it's interesting that they're bringing the professor back for cutscenes because that's how last season it was ending. He was the main part of the storyline moving into 2019. And so now at the end of the year, they're bringing him back in to kind of do some more of these. And yeah, it is super interesting. But I think what I hope that is leading into is what could be potentially the best match of all time, which is the Harris brothers versus the Wildberries.
Wildberries.
I want it.
A rematch.
I want it. Well, I mean, you wouldn't have JTE this time. You'd have both Harris.
Oh yeah.
You got to have like the super professional. It's basically like the collegiates versus the frat boys, which I want. So let's do it. Yeah. So moving on to she's a party animal, you know. She loves the Wildberries. Match 2.
Wildberries.
Thank you. No one said it. Guys, you gotta be better.
Wildberries.
Blah. No? Okay. All right. Match 2. Wolfe versus Erwin. This was just a spectacular match. It was so good. And it ended in probably the most suspenseful way a match has ended all season, I think. Because, I mean, Christian draws out and your winner all the time. But this match, I actually wasn't sure who won. And it obviously ended up being Erwin, but I honestly was like, wait, is that the right movie? Did Clarke win? There was a part of my brain that said, oh yeah, that's the right one. She definitely won. And then the other part of my brain, like, why is he drawing this out so much if it's a pretty clear victory? But geez, being off by one word is probably the most heartbreaking way to lose a tournament match. And she almost lost it that way last week. So this is just unfortunate for her. Definitely should have taken that extra second. But let's hear your guys' thoughts. So Matt, what you think about this match and that really upsetting loss by Clarke?
Yeah, this was a fantastic match. I think this was a great finals for the singles tournament. But that was so hard because just the one word, and I understand it is easy for like all of us sitting here to be like, oh well, she only took that one more second if she blah, blah, blah. But it's like in the heat of the moment when it's that close, like that stuff can happen. It stinks, but I mean, I Ethan really put up a good battle. I think he can give Roca a run for his money. I think that's going to be, this could quite possibly be one of the all-time great title matches, and I think this could also cement Ethan as Rookie of the Year, just with the run he's had this season, if he's able to get the belt. But yeah, I feel bad for Clarke, but maybe in retrospect it's better, because if she just has to focus on a number one contenders match and not 2 title matches, she might, be able to do better. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise. I mean, she's playing Who's the Boss, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So
yeah, I mean, that was my thought too, coming out of the match. Like, at least she doesn't have to do 2 title matches and 1 spectacular, because that doesn't usually go well for people, typically. I mean, going up against...
Huh? Oh, wait, yeah, no, you're right. I was about to say I don't think that's ever happened, but Levine last year.
Levine.
Are you referencing... Well, sorry.
What?
No, I got my data. I was talking Roca, because Roca did that first spectacular.
No, he did. It was a number one contenders match and the team match.
Yeah, it wasn't.
He played exact.
He's doing what Clarke is doing this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
More contenders,
and he won one and lost the other. So I think
some of us would like to say he lost 2, but we like to rewrite history.
Whatever. In any case, yeah. I mean, I think that the pressure should be off her a little bit, just because she's not going for 2 belts. However, she is going up against Dan Murrell, which almost is worse somehow than going up for a belt, because it is a rematch, but it's also Dan Murrell, who, even though he's been fairly inconsistent, like, he's still someone who most of the competitors in the SCHMOEDOWN are kind of scared of in terms of trivia. So
Clarke this season has really sort of like taken her singles. I think her being on the Shire Wolves has really, in a positive way, improved her singles playing. And I think with Dan Murrell being the way he is, Clarke could take this, and I think she could take the belt. I think that, again, it depends on which Dan shows up, but I think if Clarke comes prepared like she did in this tournament, because you also got to factor in she's preparing for a title match with a really strong team, so that could help her to be really strong. And if Dan's not coming with his A+ game, he could lose this match against Clarke.
Yeah, and I think that being in the team is probably helpful, but being in the Fife Club is probably the more important thing that's changed this season, because they're very supportive. Not that Mark Riley wasn't ever supportive, but the way that the SCHMOEDOWN has progressed this year, when you're in a faction, last year, if you were in the Lion's Den, it very much ran this way. But if you're in a faction this year, they're your training partners, they're your strategy guides. They do everything. They're on the sidelines cheering for you. They're on the sidelines saying, I think you should respin, or if you get opponent's choice, pick one of these things. They study up on the opponents for you. And there's a lot in being a part of a team now. So I think that that's definitely something that's benefited her this year. Malcolm, we don't want to skip your thoughts on this match for sure. Definitely, we've been talking a lot, but I'm sure you have thoughts about this that you want to share with us as well. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those ones like, because if she did use one of her repeats to try and figure that thing, like it comes down to she might be confident that that was the full title, and so I mean, it's one of those ones that even if you did a repeat, you may think like, oh yeah, no, I think that I'm right. I think that's the title. So yeah, so it's one of those ones that figure. I mean, it kind of reminds me of I can't remember who it was, but it was one of Andrago's match in which he lost by literally one letter. So I mean, there's just one of those ones like you can get in the mindset and think it's like, but this all up was an entertaining match, and I can't wait to see Wolfe and Merle too, because I think Clarke can get in. Because if I'm not mistaken, it is going to be a normal 3-round match this time. So I mean, it's the first, so that number of rounds could have a factor as well.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, I think that Clarke actually does really well in the rounds 3 and 4 of a 5-round match. And so it's, I mean, not that she doesn't do well in the other ones, but I think that in these big title matches, she actually usually, makes more ground up in those middle rounds. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think against Sam, like she was down for the first 2 rounds and really picked up speed during that speed round because, I mean, she pretty much got them all. So it'll be interesting to see how she does against Dan in a 3-round match. But we'll talk about our speculations for that. I do also think that this match was interesting just because Erwin is so like calm the whole time. And normally when you have someone who's that calm during a match, I don't know what Abe is doing. He's being very distracting.
Oh my god. He's lighting a paper on fire.
I'm trying to. I want to see who breaks first.
I have a lot going on in my house, and you're also distracting me. I can't focus on this many things all at once.
God damn it, Abe. Listen, she's having one of those days. We know what we're talking about. Everybody gets that way.
Especially on Friday nights.
Continue, please. Please. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cut any of these, but
Damn
just
it.
keep going.
No, so Ethan, I think he's such a calm person in the ring, and not much faces him. Even when he rolls something he's not good with, like Drew Barrymore, for instance. But the one thing I will say about this match is, if anyone is studying up on their competitor, Roka, this match did a really good job of showing what he's bad at. And we kind of already knew that his weakness was animation, but like, dang, his weakness is animation. He's not really great at animation at all. It's not really a bad thing. Everyone has to have a weakness, but he had a pretty big weakness there. And then he knew some of the earlier Drew Barrymore stuff, but once you got into the rom-commy Drew Barrymore stage, he had a pretty big weakness there too. So I think that there's some weaknesses to pull out against him during that title match if Roka has been studying, which they all do at this point. So except Erwin, who didn't even know that this was going to be a 5-round match, and yet he still won.
In his defense, how many times should we get on reactions for these finals and we're like, oh, this is a 5-round match? Okay.
Well, we're dumb. And he's smart, so you'd think that, I don't know.
Producer seducer, he's not. Get it? Because he's a producer, but he's not Nick Scarpino.
He definitely isn't Nick Scarpino.
Hashtag, where's Scarpino?
Busy, I'm sure.
Oh.
Really? All right. So we're going to move on to talk about those storylines because we got more storylines. So we finally have a bit of Brienne pulling some strings with her big, whatever, walkout protest thing. So and then we have Mike feeling a little down this week. And that's interesting. And Ken giving him a good old pep talk. Someone should pay Ken to be a motivational speaker. I think that he would do a good job. You can add it to his list of many, many jobs that he has had. But I kind of liked that Ken Mike one just for the humanization of Mike. I think that there's a lot of people who really love Mike's character right now, but then there's plenty of people who hate it and are taking it way too personally when they don't like his character, because it is just a character, let's be honest, but I kind of liked it. It humanized him a little bit. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Just I just been quiet all fucking day.
Listen, you kiss your daughter with that mouth?
I can't make the dogs not bark.
I just
You gotta be fucking.
I guess we know Kara's first word's gonna be fuck. It's okay, Kara. Your mommy only uses that word when she's angry. Or when Uncle Matt does something stupid. Or when Uncle Abe is... You know what? She uses it a lot, actually. Your mother has quite a potty mouth, Kara. Watch your profanity.
Anyway, it humanizes him because I know Abe's not going to edit any of this out because he hates me.
I will.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, well, long story short,
But that humanizes you.
it humanizes him and my dogs are assholes. Okay, so moving on to the Jen and Brienne one. I like the Brienne and Jen one. I thought was very good because it showed Jen actually following through on her promises to not have people show up, and poor Thad, hashtag poor Thad, which we're just going to keep using for the rest of our lives because I feel like that's just the story of his life now is hashtag poor Thad. So, Malcolm, what did you think about these storylines there?
Yeah, the Jen Brienne was fun because it was just a simple one, but I mean it was one of those ones which videos going. I was like, what is it like? Because I was thinking like, how is making Thad to the interviews going to stop him from making sure not to slip anything else into any other strings into the commissioner bowls? So, and that was interesting. But I mean, he did great with the interviews. And yeah, but I really liked the Mike and Ken run as well because because of the same reasons that Kristen says, like, and Ken as a motivational speaker, I really just want him hiding in my corner, motivating me to help me myself, because I mean it's just one of those ones in which he does well as motivational speaking. So
I agree with all that you said. Jeez. All right, Matt, why don't you take it away? Talk about the cutscenes.
So the Mike one was interesting. I think this is the beginnings of what we're going to see at Spectacular is the end of corruption. I think, I don't know, have we learned what the guy's name from the award show was? Have
Pauly D.
Pauly D. I think...
Pauly G.
Pauly G. I think him...
It's a D.
I think him,
No,
Paul.
it's Pauly G.
Pauly, whatever. Mullet.
Pauly.
I think Mullet taking over.
We
Has
can call him
affected...
Carlos.
I just killed someone.
I'm more than open to it at this point. Back to what I was saying. Pauly DG. Oh, hi, Mark. How's your sex life? I think him coming in and sort of critiquing corruption has affected Mike I think we're gonna see that might be done with corruption. I don't think he wants to be the bad guy anymore. I think Mikey Christmas is still there. I think this is gonna be like a Return of the Jedi moment with Vader, where we're gonna see him sort of resurface the Mike from last season that we all loved so much. Which I think could be really cool, and I think sort of Ken being the motivational speaker was really funny. But I loved the Brienne and Jen one. Not so much. I mean, the storyline is really interesting. Her sort of following through with like having competitors and people not show up. But I mostly loved this because I love the cutscenes where we just get like really human moments from SCHMOEDOWN people. Because when Jen's like trying to work the Keurig, and then she's just like, "What?" She's like, "I don't even drink coffee." She just throws the cup and walks away. I'm like, you didn't need to keep that, but I'm so glad you did. Like, it's just such a great little like cap to the scene. So I'm really excited to see where sort of both these cutscenes where they're gonna lead next week for Spectacular.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that the Mike one leads to kind of a used and abused relationship with him and Polly. Like, you know, you've served your purpose. Now I release you or whatever. Like, I'm just gonna throw you to the wolves and call it a day. I hope that's what's going on because
Same here. I want Mikey Christmas back.
I mean, I don't necessarily want Mike to be a face again, but I just kind of want the story to progress, and I feel like right now it's gonna stagnate if they keep doing Mike following this guy's orders.
Yeah.
So it would be really interesting if he kind of turns on him and just says, "All right, I've used you enough. You know, this is all I have for you. So I'm just gonna like push you away, and you can take all the blame or whatever." That's what I want to see.
Take me away. I forgot my mic is on.
Yeah, it totally is. All right. So let's talk real quick because I just want to get everyone's thoughts about the 2 tournaments because we're done with tournament season now. What was your favorite match in general? It can be singles or teams or whatever. I particularly really liked the first singles match that happened. I thought that one was just kind of that could have been the final. Not that the final was bad, but it was so good and really showed a ton of just what the tournament was about, and like, dang, they knew what they were doing in that match. So that was my favorite match probably of the whole both tournament cycle. Matt, do you have any off the top of your head that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, from the Anarchy tournament, it's Who's the Boss versus Corruption. I think Ben and Mark were so on in that match from the intros. I mean, Mark, you know, like Kalinowski's a little ninny bitch, and I loved just in the middle of the match when Ken and Tom just sort of like faced off against each other for like no reason. Like that was just such a as a big Who's the Boss fan, of course. That was when I was like, if Team Action doesn't come back together, Who's the Boss sticks together, I'll be fine with that, because they really just sort of really came together in that match, and they had like Cinemaniacs. Their match before was very great, but that one you could just tell that like Ben and Mark sort of really figured out what the team dynamic was and how Tom and Finstock worked into that, and yeah, so that's probably my favorite one.
And that's fair. I thought that was a great match as well, and it definitely, I mean, they were both great teams. So yeah. I mean, coming down to the end of the wire like that probably, you know, helps with a good match. Malcolm, did you have any favorite matches from the tournaments?
I quite liked Take the Cannoli versus the Self-Righteous Brothers. That was a fun match, and it shows that Drew does really well when paired up against a free-fall winner. Because whether it's Sam or Brienne, both of them are really good. Even though I do think that sometimes Brienne underestimates how good she is herself. I mean, and she's shown that she can do really great, whether she's on her own or with someone else. So. Yeah,
I also really liked that match. I mean, that could have been the final. It should have been the final. mean, it was really good. It's one of
Well,
the
it's a
most.
good thing.
It was one of the highest scoring matches of all time. So.
Yeah. It's a good thing no one else wants to talk. We should probably just move on to the new topic.
I can't tell if he wants to talk or if he's just doing something weird because he has been doing weird things this whole episode.
My name is Abe. My favorite match was the
Abe,
one-
did you have anything you wanted to say? You're making Kara upset.
I do. I wanna say my favorite match. It was Wolfe of Steel versus Above the Line last year. It was a great match.
That was last year.
Yeah, geez.
Oh, sorry. No. I have one this year. I think the Harris Brothers versus the Cannoli. Even though my team that I selected to win lost, but I think just Drew McQueen dressed as Wolverine is probably one of the greatest moments in the SmackDown of the year. And if you do not accept that, I hate you.
I love when Abe gets all serious. She's like, gonna put the mic straight up to my face. You can hear everything I'm saying. Take the cannoli. They're my favorite.
Well, that's interesting. Perfect.
But I believe.
All right.
Oh,
So
I don't have that much as in it, right?
Shut up.
to commemorate the fact that we're about to talk about Spectacular, I'm jumping.
We
my
got
top-
interviews.
Woo!
No one. Yeah,
No, we got nothing.
no.
We're too lazy to do much else.
No, we do. We have an interview with Kristen Harloff. Christian, what do you think about this year's in the SCHMOEDOWN? Man, do a fucking impression.
It's been real good.
Make it rain all up here with the Patreon money, though.
No, that's when you supercut an image of dead-eyed Christian Harloff.
Also, we have
No,
Queenie
what
right
you
here.
do is you insert Christian Harloff taking a drink from nothing into the cup.
Or you insert Christian Harloff and then you put Kara crying behind his face. Instead of talking, it's just Eric crying.
Oh, I would like that.
Are we allowed to have fun yet, Abe? Okay, so we're gonna move on to
Oh, we're so
Spectacular.
sorry, Abe. We're trying to have fun on a Friday night.
Let's talk about Spectacular.
Yay!
Yay! All right, so we know
Cars
what's happening.
already.
We know what's happening at Spectacular finally. So the number one contender match is going to be Clarke Wolfe versus Dan Murrell. Then we've got the Star Wars match, which is Ken Knapsack versus Alex Damon. Inner Geekdom, Mara Knapik versus Mike Kalinowski. Team match, which is going to be the Shire Wolves versus Who Cares, and the singles. Isn't that off? The singles match, which is going to be John Rocco, the winner, versus Ethan Erwin, the loser, of course. So let's go through each one and just preview what we think is going to happen. The number one contender match, we'll do that one first. This is going to be a great match. I think we've already talked a little bit about our expectations, but I think just based on each person's performance this year only, I will give the edge to Clarke Wolfe. Malcolm, who do you think is going to come away victorious and get that spot at the New York event?
Clarke Wolfe has been the person that for so long has always been the bridesmaids but never the bride. So I think Clarke Wolfe is hungry for that title. I think she's going to pull out the victory over Dan.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Matt, do you also think the way that we think?
I think that it's not 2016 SCHMOEDOWN anymore. And what I mean by that is, it's just what happens. I think the SCHMOEDOWN has just changed, and Dan Murrell, and it's not to say that he's not a good competitor. He still is a great competitor, but I think it's not like it was in 2016 or early 2017 when it was like Dan Murrell is the all-knowing one, and it's kind of like whoever can just catch him on the right day. Now it's like it's a lot more even playing field, and I think the season Clarke's been having both singles and teams compared to this season Dan's been having, I think Clarke just has a lot more momentum going into this match. I also, and this is just me personally, I think she wants it more than Dan. This season, I just feel like, she started her season off with the a number one contenders match, and she's going to end it. And I think she wants that belt. I think she wants to combine the belts. I think she wants to defeat Who's the Boss. I think she wants to beat Dan and then beat Roca or Erwin. So I think Clarke's going to win this match.
Yeah, I guess we're all in agreement, and that's probably the only time it will ever happen. I don't know. We could actually agree on one of these matches coming up. Maybe the Star Wars match. Will we all agree about who wins the Star Wars match? We're going to find out because we're talking about it now. I mean, Alex Damon versus Ken Knapsack. This is going to be a great match. You have the person who very easily could have won the belt the last time around because it came down to the very last question in that 5-way contender match. And I think he could have done just as well as Sam or Ken in that Iron Man match as well. So I think Alex could hold on to the belt pretty easily. But Ken is also just really knowledgeable about Star Wars. I mean, scary knowledgeable about Star Wars. So I'm going to say Alex is going to win just because a lot of these guys who are studying for the Star Wars match now, they study watching Alex's channel. So he makes the content that they study off of, which means he knows more than them because he makes the content. So I just think that he's going to win. I think that he's got the best chance of winning. So, Malcolm, who do you think is going to win this one?
I think we're going to have Alex Damon winning. I mean, Alex and Ken faced off in the triple threat, and I think, I mean, as much as I know that Ken knows a lot about Star Wars, I think Alex knows that a little bit more. But then again, if all the entrances start, then all of a sudden this music comes out and a certain Sam turns up, then all bets will be off.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. He's not even in the area. He's filming stuff. You look how upset you've made her at the possibility of that happening. Matt, who do you think's gonna win this one?
Took my thing because I was going to say the winner's going to be Sam, but okay.
I would said the same thing to you. It's not gonna happen.
You know what, Kristen? You know what people said to me in 2017? Matt, there's no way Mark's going to win the belt back. Roca's beaten him 2 times, 3 if you count the 2015 tournament. And what happened then, Kristen?
He lost the belt pretty quickly then.
Yeah. So anything, hey guys, as they say every night in the Powerball drawings, anything can happen in Jersey, but we're not in Jersey, we're in Burbank. Well, we're not in Burbank, they're in Burbank. We're all across the globe. But I'm not even in Jersey, so why am I watching New Jersey lottery drawings? Don't question me. Okay? I think we're all missing a vital point here, which is Alex Damon lost the Star Wars trivia match at Dragon Con this year. So Alex he's why am I doing Russian accent? He's not unbeatable. I actually don't know. I mean, I'll say Ken just because I think he has a little bit more of the drive to want to take the belt back, whereas I think Alex was kind of hoping he would be playing Sam at Spectacular. You know, from his interview when he won it at Collision, he kind of wished it was Sam he was playing. So I think Ken could do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Alex won. That's a real non-answer, but yeah.
Yep. I agree. I'm very distracted.
No.
No one's distracted.
Not at all.
Well, I think Ken could very easily win it. I just settle down. No. Why? Okay. I think
Social services are on their way.
I think he could easily win it. It's kind of just more of a question of, you know, what what weaknesses do either of these guys really have? And I think the biggest weakness Ken had was with the quotes, because when he lost the belt to Sam, the biggest difference between the two of them was Sam knew all the quotes. So if Alex knows the quotes like Sam did, which going off only that 5-way contender match, he didn't. It'll be interesting to see if he can, make some points up from Ken on some of those really small weaknesses. And I think the other weakness, just in general, is the weapons and tech, whatever that one is. And I don't know.
I think it's weapons and technology.
I don't even think that's going to be on the slice this time. I think that they're doing away with it because they're going to have Solo as a slice, and The Last Jedi has more questions now. And I don't even know if it's going to be a wedge anymore, because it's definitely the hardest wedge on the wheel, for sure. The hardest wedge on the wheel. So we'll see. It'll be a good match in any case. So Inner Geekdom is going to be interesting because we have Mark Knoppick and Mike Kalinowski. I don't care. Someone's playing someone else. I think Mara's winning. Whatever. She's gonna win because she's gonna win.
I playing match. I did not know this.
Matt.
Spoiler alert.
Who's winning?
I took Mike's place in Spectacular. Spoilers to everyone. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I sound like Jeff Goldblum now.
Who do you think's gonna win? Just tell us.
Who do I think's gonna win? In Mara versus Mike. Who's an interesting word? WHO.
I think the word you're looking for is Mara. Mara. Dara. Yeah. All right, Malcolm.
No, I think Mike's gonna win it. I don't know. I think he's gonna win it. He's had a really strong season in Inner Geekdom. Mara had. Yeah, okay, she had a strong one too.
Undefeated. Got a belt.
Don't question me. If I wouldn't be shocked if Mara
won the entire tournament.
A tournament that only happened because of Mike.
Yeah, well, she still be a great person.
Yeah.
Malcolm, who's gonna win?
Mo's going to win. She's already beaten Mike once before, so she's going to beat Mike again. She's proven that whether she's 100% or 50%, she can still win. Because but yeah,
I agree with you. I think that she's definitely shown her strengths with just the tournament. I mean, that's the only time she's really played, and being undefeated, getting to that title match, she played some of the hardest competitors in the entire tournament, all the way through the entire tournament. She played really tough competitors. And I think that speaks a lot to just the knowledge base she has. So yeah, I think she's got a good chance of winning. And that's all I got. Team match, we've got Shire Wolves versus Who Cares? And who's the other team? I don't even know who the other team is. That's how little I think they're gonna win. It's the Shire Wolves. Duh. Shire Wolves are gonna win. Doesn't matter who they're playing. That's all. That we can just move on to the singles because Matt has nothing to say to that. Matt has nothing to say to that.
There's a time for love and a time for loving. Take a chance and face away. Open road and a world worth living. It's a brand new life around the bay. There were times I lost a dream or two round the bend, and at the end was you. That's the theme to Who's the Boss, which is also the team that's gonna be look it up. Which is also the team that's gonna be winning this match. Shire Wolves are great. They're good, but they're not Ben Bateman and Mark Yodi.
Thank God they're not. Because they're better. They're Rachel.
Oh, they're better. Oh, they're better. Ooh, we're all objective over here. Ooh, they're better. Ooh.
I think this is a great matchup, by the way. It
really is. It's gonna.
No,
I'm
it's a
more
fantastic
waiting
match.
for the promos for this match. I think it's gonna be really interesting.
Can I ask everybody a question?
Wow.
Do you guys think this match defines Team of the Year?
I think it
Oh,
does.
I think it does. Yeah,
I think it
definitely.
does. Because the Shire Wolves have been such a dominant part of the year, but if they lose the belts, they haven't played enough matches for it to be like definitive that they're.
Yeah, they've been
And,
really
yeah.
they've been a presence throughout this season, but like with Marin and her geekdom, Who's the Boss made such from their first match. They made such a dominant performance and sort of staked themselves as a team that I think it really does come down to who wins this match is also winning Team of the Year.
I think so. Yeah.
And I think it's also going to Manager of the Year as well. Between Tom and Emma, I think is also going to be decided here.
I think it's very easily going to be Emma.
Tom.
I don't think that
Yeah.
there's
Yeah, it's going to be Tom
question
again.
of
It's gonna be
her losing or
Yeah,
winning.
definitely. I mean, it's just
I think
Tom.
Emma
You know, I
already
mean,
has it
like
in the bag.
when you look at what Tom has done.
You look at what Emma.
Yeah,
has
I
done.
mean, what Tom has done. You know, I mean, with Tom, you know,
Emma's done really
Tom
well.
and Tom. You know. Tom. You know.
Malcolm, I
Tom.
feel bad for Malcolm because he's just supposed to sit here and listen to us do nothing. Malcolm, who's winning between the Shire Wolves and who cares?
Oh,
Um,
you're so
I'm
funny. I've
sorry.
never heard that one before.
I mean, is that a stupid question? Shires are definitely winning. I mean, they've got the person that's going to win Manager of the Year. They've got Clarke has already beaten both Ben and Mark in various points in her career. So I mean,
What are you talking
and
about?
I think
Clarke never beat Mark. Mark beat her in singles.
It's true. Clarke has never beaten her.
and that's why I'm not. That's why I didn't do well in the Schmoedown trivia Schmoedown. So,
Perfect. But they have both beaten
Um,
Ben, so.
No.
And they beat Ben.
but yeah, I mean,
so.
but yes, I mean, Shires are great. I mean, Mark and Ben have a great pairing, but I think Rachel and Clarke are just that little bit better.
Yes.
They are a great team.
They are.
I want people to know Star Wolves are a great team, and I will not be upset if they win.
Yeah, and I
You say
would
that
be
now.
upset.
I mean, I'll be upset, but like, I'm not gonna be mad. Star Wolves are a great team.
I mean, if you're gonna lose to a team, you should lose to a really good team. Which,
Yeah.
Who's the Boss is a great team, and they came out of basically they've only been a team for 2 months, and we're having a very serious conversation about them winning Team of the Year, and they've hardly been a team at all. So they're a very good team. They work off each other very well, and if the Shire Wolves are going to lose, they should lose against a good team. So I'm excited for this. This is probably the match I want to see the most, just because I think that it's going to be the most interesting match that happens.
I agree. I'm
yeah.
sorry, not to cut
No,
you. I agree. This is my most anticipated match, not just because it's Who's the Boss, but also just I think personal storylines of everything we've been talking about of this could decide Team of the Year. You also have this stuff with Clarke and Mark. You have the fact that Clarke and Rachel have both beaten Ben in singles and teams. You have Emma and Tom going at like there's just so many things, and then on top of that, they're both really good teams that have shown together. Round 2, there's not really been categories for either one of them where it's like they have a weakness, which also makes this just a really interesting match. I think this is gonna come down to the buzzers. I honestly think it's gonna be the buzzers is gonna decide this match. So
The
yeah, I'm
buzzers
really excited for this
definitely are going to decide the match. For sure, I think.
for sure.
For
For
sure.
show.
For sure. No,
For
it
sure.
could be in round 5. I don't know. But I think it is going to be a close match in any case.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, the singles match, which objectively is a great match. I mean, you have Ethan Erwin, who has come into this league this year and just he's Rookie of the Year, and there's not like Mara's awesome, but she plays in one league, and I can't really imagine her being Rookie of the Year if Ethan gets this belt.
Yeah.
If he gets the belts, Rookie of the Year.
If she defends it,
What?
if
If
Mara
she
defends the belt,
If she defends it, but I'd argue that Ethan has had a harder run to get to his belt, because he had to play to even get into the tournament. Like he had to get enough wins to get into the tournament, and she just got into the tournament. And she's already beaten Mike once, so if she defends it, it's just, well, another day. You know, she's already beaten him. If he beats John, John is someone in the league who is considered to be one of the best players.
He's a two-time champ. Like, that's not a thing to overlook.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Mara doesn't deserve Rookie of the Year. She absolutely does. But if Ethan gets this belt, between this performance and his performance at Free For All, and the fact that he's done teams and done a good job, I think he wins. What?
You can watch a comparison of all players in that Player of the Year race on the Take-Three Twitter account made by me. Take-Three video.
Yeah, Roka and his many fans were upset that you did not put Roka at the top. They thought it was a ranked thing.
I just find the images I have saved for the competitors, and the first one that came out I put in. So there was
Everybody
no
thought it was
particular
like
order.
ranked. They thought that was like, and it was like, no, guys,
No.
no numbers next to them.
Yeah, like people are weird. So, how's everybody day going? What about you, Malcolm? How's your day going?
Jeez. No, let's get on to the singles match, because, like I said, objectively, it is a great match. Ethan Erwin versus John Roca. I go with my favorites the majority of the time, but I think he could lose this belt. Roca's going to win because he's Roca, and I have to say that. But I think he could easily not. No. Stop! Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
I'm gonna send that message to
No,
John Rock.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him. Stop it. Yeah,
Dear Roka.
he could lose this match. Ethan is such a scary competitor, and there are very few weaknesses in his game, and we talked about a couple, but like, there's just a couple. And even the category that he wasn't very good at in round 2, he still got quite a few of those problems correct. So he's a scary guy. He's a scary guy.
Is Matt?
No, I didn't say. I said he's gonna win because I'm sticking with my favorites. Jeez.
Can I ask you, what do the SCHMOEDOWN they give problems in round 2?
Yeah, they give problems in round 2.
I don't know this was a math class.
Yes.
This is Lon Harris here.
Gosh dang it, Malcolm, you're a nice person. Who's winning this match?
As much as I like Ethan, I do think John has what it takes to win the match. And I mean, and this is actually not because I'm a fan. I like John. I'm just not that big of a fan of him.
Okay, dear Roka.
But I do think he's going to
Malcolm's not
win.
a fan.
Matt, don't be a butthole and tell us who you think is going to win.
Okay,
this
so here's the thing. I think we're all overlooking something here. Something very important to the Outlaw. The man has never defended a belt in any league. Ever.
First time for anything.
There's a lot of people who haven't defended their
Let
belts,
me...
So
Can I finish? However, Clarke Wolfe also never made it past round 1 in singles tournaments, but saw what she's done this year. I think this is the year Roka breaks his curse because he's going to defend his belt. I think Ethan is a great competitor. I think he is Rookie of the Year. But I think Ethan's kind of like nice attitude, and like I don't think he really cares if he wins or loses it, where I think John really wants to defend it, he wants to keep it, and I think that's what's gonna push him over the edge to retain the belt. Why can't you just let people finish their faults? I just need to bring up the stat to set up the...
I speak just because
I speak. The ability to speak does not make you intelligent. Knock it out of here. Are we quoting Phantom Menace now? Yay! Let's do it.
There's 2 persons that has never defended the belt. 3. Robert Mike Burnett, Matt Nost, and what's the other one? And Viviani and Harloff. Oh, there's 4. There's many people. Damn, I feel stupid now.
Ellis, did Did they defeat?
Oh,
No,
Ellis.
Ellis, yeah, with Team Schmoes didn't defend the belt.
There's 5.
He never won the singles belt. He lost that.
If you put Riley, it's second time.
Hey, Riley defended the belt.
No, but like it's second
EKT.
time with a belt. It's
No,
second
but it doesn't matter because he still had defended a belt. We're talking about people who've never defended a belt.
Mara never defended her belt either.
Well, yeah.
Well,
but
she doesn't
got
count because
second.
she hasn't had a match where she's had to defend it yet
Hector
until Spectacular.
Navarro did not defend his belt.
He did.
He did against
did?
Jeremy.
Oh, you're right. He did against Jeremy. That was weird.
That's what we're losing.
Jason Inman. No, Jason
Mark
Inman did
Donica.
against Donica. Nope, that's right. Yeah, he defended against Donica.
That was also.
Well, there's a lot of people have held belts. Technically, Sam Whitwer never defended his belt since he was forced to give it up.
You're right.
Yeah.
He was
Ken
forced to
Napsok
give
did it.
up. Ken Napsok didn't defend his belt. Yeah, that's right.
Alex
Wow.
has.
Wow, there's a lot of LB going around the Schmoedown, isn't there?
Did Sam Levine ever defeat the singles belt?
He
Yes.
defended it twice.
He
he
defended the singles belts against Clarke and Rachel.
and he defended the team's belts against
Against the
Patriots.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
was.
think we've gone through pretty much everything.
We can be a really good team in the Schmoedown 3 Schmoedown if it ever
The
goes
four
well.
of us. If there was a team of four, we could really do it.
Between the four of us, I think we'll do well.
We'll be really great. Between
So
the
it's
four of us.
like Abe and then me / Matt / Malcolm, and we'll just tag team.
Wait, no, we can
Abe is always
Freebird rule.
on the team.
No, we can have a faction and we can have the Freebird rule.
All right. Well, that's all we have because we all said John's winning, which we started out with everyone agreeing on a match and we ended with everyone agreeing on a match. And if that's not a great way
Nice.
to end the summit, I don't know what is. So
I know what it is. I know what it is.
So, fantasy updates.
Yes.
Fine. Abe's still winning. Why are we even doing this?
Because it's all about family.
Okay, fine. Vin Diesel, whoever you are. Updates. Go.
Hey guys, it's Vin Diesel here. And I'm here again with the Take 3 fancy updates because it's all about family. We got a baby here. That baby will have a family. That's right. So, in your Take 3 fancy updates, the winner right now is Abe. He's still winning. He's got a good family. So, that's it for your Take 3 fantasy update with me, Vin Diesel. You can follow me on Twitter at Vin Diesel. Also, little baby, you're part of a family. Ask for Christmas, ask Santa Claus for Fate the Furious on Blu-ray. It's a great watch. Every kid should see Fate the Furious. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for being my family. Isn't that right, Arnold? Yeah, this is right. This is right, Vin Diesel. This is wonderful. It made me cry when you were like, it's the fantasy updates. It was beautiful. It's double time. Let's go watch Jingle All the Way 7, Vin.
Oh, this is going on for real. And Kara's eating my microphone.
Kara is gonna end the summit off for us.
So, why don't you guys do your plugs since we're done talking about the showdown?
No, we are.
You can follow me on Twitter at AbrahamF25. You can follow don't add me on Facebook if I don't know you. You can also watch Gone with the Wind this week, where we're gonna be reviewing several movies. We're gonna review Aquaman. We're gonna review The Mule. We're gonna review Roma. We're gonna review Into the Spider-Verse, and I don't know what other movie was Manny watching. Malcolm, are you watching any movies this week? I believe Kara wants to talk, so
Yeah, let Kara
Alright.
plug herself.
That sounds
Yeah.
about right, actually. Yeah. All right. That's where you can find Kara on the internet. You can find Matt where?
You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovies611 on YouTube, and right here, co-host of Rhyme and Reason with Sandy Robinson. New episode, and our last episode of 2018 just dropped. It's all about Superman. We talk a lot about Superman. We get into a very lengthy discussion about Smallville, just because. You guys can also find me on Rankum. I think depending on when this gets uploaded, the latest episode that went up I was just on it. You guys also can find me on Gone with the Winds, the superior Oscar show where we talk about, me and Brooklyn talk about the 5 movies and plus that we saw this year. We talk about the Oscars race based solely on those films. Trust me, it's the general audience's Oscar show.
Kara is still plugging herself over here, so welcome.
She's doing what I do.
Where we can find you, that'd be great.
You can find me on Tape 3 Productions. I host my show Rankum. We've just done Christmas TV specials. We've got Christmas movie characters coming next week. You can also find me competing in trivia all over the place on Full Metal and Multiplex, and I'm also on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Stardust at Malcor.
Not at Malcolm the Ray. That's not Malcolm's I learned that.
And she's still plugging herself.
Plug it away.
Yep. So you can find us.
Oh, get violent.
You can find us at
Go on, destroy it.
Smith_Case.
Yes. Anarchy.
Oh yeah, this has been fun. Smith_K10, the number, not the word. You can also find me right here on Take 3. That's all I got. I can't even find her pacifier anymore.
Oh.
We're just gonna do this. All right, so that's all I got. Thanks for joining us on the summit. It's been a real long plug for my crying child. I hope you all have a wonderful day and go watch the SCHMOEDOWN. Take care.
Everybody makes mistakes.